Hello everybody, this is Brent in Central Arkansas. Today's video is an update, and we're going to take the air layering that I did from these figs in the last video I did on figs. So briefly, to bring you up to speed, what happened was during the late winter, like the beginning of January and middle of December to the beginning of January, I ordered both fig cuttings and tissue culture figs, about 50-50 mix, about 5 each, 4 or 5 each. I can't quite remember, but I got a video on both of them. And so they're growing. You can see them behind me. I got 9 out of 10 to root and grow successfully, and I think almost all of them, let me look real quick, have figs on them. So from what I actually see, there is no difference between tissue culture and fig cuttings. I had seen somewhere that when you take fig cuttings, the fig cutting itself is more mature than a tissue culture, so it's going to fruit the first year. Well, I've not seen that. The tissue cultures also fruited from little bitty things that are in that video to now being upwards close to 6 foot or more, certainly from the bottom of the pot. They're taller than me. So I've successfully got tissue culture and fig cuttings to grow really nicely in these really big pots, which I moved them into. I think they're like 23 to 25 gallon pots that I got from the feed store for $10 each, and they're just doing fantastic. Now I plan to keep these particular 9 figs in these containers for at least 3 or 4 years. I'm going to take cuttings off of them. That's part of what this is that we're going to do today. And I'm going to plant them in the ground. For the most part, I believe here in Central Arkansas, most of these varieties will grow year after year. But before I sacrifice these that I've gotten to this point, I want to test that theory, and so these are going to remain in pots for 3 years or so, and who knows, maybe longer. First time growing figs. I have not tasted anything other than at my mom's house. My grandfather and probably his father, even before that, had a fig, and I'm thinking it was like a brown turkey or maybe a Celeste, and I thought they were okay. They were what I call figgy. They had that particular taste. And so I was caught a YouTube video or something where someone was talking about if you've never had other types of figs, you're really missing out. So anyway, I thought I would just go ahead and try the cuttings. They were really pretty inexpensive. Managed to get them rooted. We are where we are. So today is about taking the air layering, and probably about 50% to 75% are going to be the ones that I will put in the ground next spring, and a couple of them I'm going to give my sisters each two each. One's having a house built right now, and the other one's going to move from Texas to Mississippi. They're both in the Batesville, Oxford area. Well, one will be pretty soon, as soon as she finds a house. So these are going to be the housewarming presents for them. They both going to have a bit of land. One's going to be a yard, and the other one's took 10 acres. I think it was about 10 acres of my dad's ranch. Anyway, off topic. Today's video is about taking the air layers. There's a little bit I want to show you. If you go back to the last video, it shows me doing the air layer using Ziploc bags. Really piece of cake. Ziploc bags with zip ties on them. You just cut the bag in half, fill it, cut the bag in half, fold it over, zip tie it, and then I put a piece of foil on it just to keep mold out and heat from penetrating and possibly killing those roots. It seems to have done well. I think I've got 9 that have rooted from the looking, and the 2 from Black Madeira, for some reason, they don't seem to have rooted yet, and it's been 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm not sure what's going on with them, so I'm going to leave those. But now I'm going to take the camera, turn it around, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I do and have done to get where I am right now. The first fig in the lineup is called Adriatic JH, And like I said, I've not tried any of these figs. This one's supposed to have a really good berry flavor, reminiscent of strawberry, I've heard. So I'm not sure. I think this one was a cutting. Anyway, it doesn't matter here or there, but because they're all doing just as well as this. But anyway, so I took, this is the air layer, and there's a Ziploc bag with the zip ties on it. And then once I finished that, and like I said, the video shows how I did it, I took this syringe here. The mix was moist when I did it, but once a week I took the syringe here and I just poked it through the top to get an initial hole there. And all I do once a week is, all I did was just add some liquid here, and you can just see it fill this area. And I haven't seen too many people watering the containers. Like, I have these black balls that I tried to air layer grapes with and blueberry, and it didn't work for me. I probably didn't do it right, but anyway, I couldn't see in it, and I didn't know if I needed to water it or not, and there's not a whole lot online that talks about watering. And so I did it because I know that roots need water, and also I wanted to make sure that the soil remained moist for penetration and other things. I just didn't want it to be a dry thing because of evaporation. So I just stuck, like I said, I used this, I poked a hole with the tip here right through the bag. It was easy enough to do, and yeah, just added some water. It took about 1 syringe to do every one of the ones we're going to do today. So I've got these 3/4 gallon little containers here, and they're pretty good. They're UV protected here, and I've had them for a couple years. I think probably, shoot, since I had the greenhouse, probably 4 or 5 years. Anyway, I got this white paint pen, and I use it, and I'm going to mark this down so that I will have a painted labeled fig. And that means no matter where I take the fig, I have the label here. So if I were to stick this in there, this could be lost. And this does really good until I get to the point where I put the metal tags on there. I think I showed the metal tags. I didn't. I'll go ahead and show you, and then we'll talk about the mix, and then we'll get into cutting this thing out. So I can't remember if I did this or not, but these are little metal tags. I've got it in my Amazon store, link in the description. Really inexpensive, and you just write on it with a pen, and it just puts an impression in here that will never ever fade, obviously, because it's a piece of aluminum that was etched. So I've got this on all the figs, and yeah, it does a really good job. Make sure that I don't ever lose track of what this particular fig is. When I cut that Adriatic JH fig, I'm going to bring it over here. This is the edge of the deck here, and it's in the shade here, pretty good shade here. I've got a mixture of a little bit of perlite, aged rice hulls, and peat, and that is what I'm going to top up those little 3-gallon pots with, and then we're going to water it in, and that'll be all she wrote. So how extensive this root is in this particular one is a little bit hard to tell. I can see the roots in it here and here, so I think there's enough roots here, but just to make sure, I'm going to cut all the leaves off so it slows the photosynthesis. I'm going to let it sit in the pot with just the top bit of leaves here for a few days, maybe up to a week, and then I'm going to cut it back here so that it can sprout and be a lower to the ground we wouldn't call it a cutting, plant, tree, whatever the case may be. So what will happen then is that it'll shoot a little offshoot almost immediately within a few days, and then that one I will keep it small until the spring, and then when the spring comes, I'll let it do like I let this particular one do, grow 1 central leader all the way up and down, and from the cutting. So if I cut it here, another one will grow, and it'll start this right here like you see this one here. But right now it's a little too tall for this amount of of roots that are probably in this little Ziploc bag here. So I'm going to remove the photosynthesis that would stress the roots and potentially could cause the tree to die. So let's get to it. So this one's a little tight, and that's a lesson learned here. So I'm going to take and cut this. Well, I thought I could do it with these pretty easily. There we go. And so I have to bend this down to get to this branch, and we're going to cut it, hopefully here in front of you, without damaging the tree too much. There we go. So that's what it looks like, separated, and this is turning and probably breaking roots. Don't want to, but we'll take a look at it. So the tree is wounded. I'm going to leave it like this for a little bit and let that scar over before I put dirt back on top of it. In the meantime, hold on 1 second, my tripod's acting up. In the meantime, I'm going to cut the zip ties off here. And hopefully I did not break these roots off too much, and I think I did. We got some here, and these I didn't have a whole lot of roots in this particular one. So anyway, I'm going to take it over there and we're going to add soil to it. So I know I said I was going to leave that on, but because there's not much roots on this at all, I'm going to prevent the roots from getting stressed, and hopefully that it'll root out and not die off. So I'm going to pack this in pretty good here, and then we will have this particular cutting, Adriatic JH, that's done. I'll toss a little water to this right off, and yeah, move on to the next one. All right, let's do this process again, but without all the talking. This one is Cadota. This is just a piece of bamboo stake that I put in to keep this elevated. All right. I see more roots in this one. I also learned that I could get away with 2 zip ties instead of 3. And so I'm going to try not to damage this much. Which I did. I did damage it some. But there's 2 pieces. There's several pieces of root here. Maybe I didn't leave these on long enough, I'm not sure. So I'm going to cut this back where it sits in the pot better. So much for not talking, huh? There's really not that many roots in this one. Maybe I should have left all these longer. I do know there's others with more roots, and we'll get to those. All right, I'm going to carry it and fill it. I watered it in really well with that mix, and now I'm going to take off some of these leaves. And that'll be what it looks like here. I'll go ahead and take one more off. I'm gonna try something different with cutting the bag away with a box cutter on the next one. This is the LSU purple, and it's a bit crowded right now. This was, I'm quite certain, it wasn't a cutting, it was tissue culture, and the tissue culture ones seem to generate a lot of side growth, and I don't want that. So I'm removing it now to get to the other two that are air layered. I've also got one from the plant over there, which is Black Mission, that's coming in creeping. I had to put it behind the camera tripod. Okay, so these two right here, there's two right here off of this, and if you look, you can almost assuredly see both of them here. So I'm going to cut them close. And I'm going to attempt not to disturb those roots. I'll go ahead and do one at a time. So I got a box cutter here, and I'm going to first cut off these zip ties. I even got a little sprout here that's trying to come through. Pull that off. I need to be careful between filming. I'll take some of this end off here. Between filming to make sure you can see what I'm doing and being careful is a compromise. So I'm pulling it away a little bit and cutting. The Ziploc bag. Look at the roots here, it's nice. I definitely don't want to cut into those if I don't have to. There we go. That's what I'd like to do right there. Look at that one. That one's nice. So before, I think the roots help stabilize it too. So I need to write in this one. This one is LSU purple. Got two of those. One of each for my sisters. And I'm writing, so you can't see me, you're just looking at the plant. So I'm going to get the other one here in just a minute. So I'm going to take this, you don't need to see me add the extra to it, but I'll take this over here. I'll probably put it more like this, leaning towards the edge, and just add, and I'll show you the final product. This one's leaning over, but we'll fix that later on. I don't want to take off too many of these leaves. This had a lot of roots to it, and I did see several videos where some figs do a lot better than other figs, and this LSU purple is a hardy mofo. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it just like that. That's all we're going to do to this one. This one's even got more roots than the last one. Pretty darn good. And you can tell the roots are drinking the water because it's lighter, the bag. less, meaning it doesn't have as much moisture. Where is my nut? Here it is. Pull it from the center here because it's let me see that you can see me. Yeah, good. So I'm pulling the bag away from the roots and then just cutting. I'm not sure how clear it is in the picture. Good, Brent. Just cut yourself with the dang knife right on camera. I'll make this a horror movie instead of a fig movie. Just separate this. And yes, I do cut myself. Because I know that it'll grow back, and sometimes the job, I just don't give enough safety to the job needed probably. See if that's enough to take it off. It appears to be. Now behind you, you can't see it, is a 5-gallon pot. Where's the little stake that holds these? Here's one way over there. But the 5-gallon container is holding all the trash. It's taking me forever to answer this because I'm busy doing other stuff. So anyway, these are little, my drip irrigation. I have it come on twice a day for 10 minutes at a slow drip. I don't know where the little stake went on this one. I don't see it anywhere. Anyway, I'll get another one later. So I'm going to take this one over and we'll do just like the previous one and add some mix to it and water it in. I'm going to go ahead and finish off the other ones, not on camera, but I just want to bring it back quickly to show you this. This is first time doing all this, so I don't know what my approach is going to be because I haven't done it before. So I'm trying to use some common sense and some other plant knowledge that I have. So anyway, this had a really long, it's not really a shoot, a branch, not really, it was a branch, but now it's plant. But anyway, I cut it off because there's a shoot here. And I know that figs are hardier than peppers and tomatoes and stuff like that. So I know this will be fine and this shoot will start growing. So the reason why I cut it off is because I don't want the top to sway in the wind and potentially rotate this, causing the roots to break off. And so I'm going to go ahead and top off all things that have a tall branch on them, just to prevent that from happening. And yeah, we'll go from there, and the rest I'll do off camera and I'll bring you back for a final shot. Done for today. I didn't manage to get the Black Madeira. I'm not comfortable that they're ready, not enough roots. I did get all the others except for Black Madeira and this one here. This is the Chicago Hardy. I was going to get it, but I decided to wait, the same as the Black Madeira. You can probably see we got dripping going on here, and these are quite large containers, and it takes a little bit to keep them wet, keep them nice and moist. But the figs seem to be doing pretty good. They don't seem to be stressing, so I'm not going to increase the amount of time. I do have an Orbit automatic timer on it, so yeah, I'll monitor them and we'll see if it needs more time in the future. But for now, middle of August, I think it's pretty darn good. Seems to be working really well. Let's go over here and take a look at the finished fig air layering. And I'm not going to wait until these show sign that they all took you know, rooted and survive the rooting, air layering process. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and publish a video, and I'll do an update on it later. Get the Black Mission, the Violet de Bordeaux. Some people call it Violet de Bordeaux. Don't really care. Adriatic JH, Cadota, and 2 LSU purples. And I cut all of them back, as you can see here. I just think it's probably wiser. So, flip it around here and we'll say goodbye. This concludes the video, and like I said, we'll do an update later on with it. I got something flew in my mouth. So yeah, we'll do that. If you like the video, please share the video. I'm definitely a fig novice, so don't come here thinking I know everything about figs. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
How long do we gotta stay here for people we don't know in one lines? All of the clothes are designer, fast cars and who knows who. Yeah, I know what they wanna say. They're gonna ask me if I'm gonna make it. I don't care if I'm gonna have to fake it, long as I can be real